Former president of the St. Lucia Petroleum Dealers Association, Evaristas Jamari, says Prime Minister Alan Chastanet owes the nation an apology over his 2016 election campaign rhetoric on gas prices. Between 2014 and 2016, Chastanet, as the leader of the United Workers' Party, alleged that the St. Lucia Labour Party administration, led by Dr. Kenny Anthony, was benefiting from a hidden tax on the sale of each gallon of fuel. It is a claim which was emphatically denied by officials who pointed to the open source calculation method for the fuel pass-through mechanism. Now, Chastanet, who is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, in a presentation of a report to Parliament this week, conceded that the perceived gains were actually going to fuel importers. An astounded General Manager of Jamari and Sons is calling on the Prime Minister to fess up for the erroneous claims.
And we kept saying that, but he insisted that money was going to the government, and went as far as to quantify it as $6.80 or $6.90 per gallon. And I mean, it is shocking that he kept doing that for the time he did that. And today, he's in the parliament explaining the same thing we did explain then, and admitting that this money has been going to the importers and not the government. And, I think he owes the nation an apology why he did what he did at the time he did. Because he was cautioned against doing it and he persisted. So now he has come to realization, that it is not the case that government was getting $6.80 per gallon, and that the fact that it was not true. And I kept saying the government cannot have a hidden tax. It's a very transparent thing. There is a statutory instrument that states what the excise tax is on every gallon of fuel. I don't know how could you hide that. Besides, government doesn't handle the product.
Jamari, who views the actions on the 2016 election campaign trail as disingenuous and unconscionable, is not sold on the Prime Minister's announcement of a planned study to review the fuel price regime to provide more savings for the state and St. Lucians.
Yesterday I heard him and actually explaining it, and he's doing it, but he's saying the right things now as a premise or pretext to do something else. And I think the pretext is to bring in a third operator into the market. And of course, he's not telling the truth about the situation, but in so doing, he's unraveling some of the foolishness he was saying at the time. So I really believe he owes the public an apology for having deceived them for the length of time he did. And this idea of a study, I just don't take that seriously anymore.
The former senator's stock in trade is the gas station business. While Jamari might see some merit in an evaluation of the framework used by the fuel importers, he thinks this can be best achieved at a sub-regional level. He scoffs at any notion of revamping the current arrangement, arguing that a revision of the regulatory period of adjustment from 3 months to 3 weeks has helped curtail the variance in price fluctuations.
If you want to have a study as to how those prices are computed by Sol and Rubis, that's another study. But the system is the same. The prices are the same for all the territories within the region, except, of course, for changes due to freight prices. But the system is the same. So if you want to do anything, it probably has to best be done on an OECS level to do this issue. But there's nothing wrong with the fuel pass-through mechanism, which has been recommended by the ECCB and has been in operation in most of the islands. So, I mean, this idea that you need to change the system, there's nothing wrong with the system. We have dealt with the anomaly that has been created as a consequence of having a very long revision period of 3 months. We have reduced it to 3 and have dealt with that issue. So there's nothing wrong. To suggest that there's something inadequate about the system, I think is misleading.
Thousands of St. Lucians, led by UWP leader Alan Chastanet, took to the streets on January 28, 2015, in a massive demonstration billed as the, quote, "Enough is Enough," unquote, Orange March, against the rising cost of living, high fuel prices, and the value-added tax, among other grievances. Chastanet, who railed against the then 3-month fuel price adjustment period, insisted that the SLP government was being less than forthright about what he claimed was a hidden tax on petroleum products. Colby DeVoe, HTS News Force.